If you can see me, press 1, and if you can hear me, press 2. If you can see me, press 1, and if you can hear me, press 2. Welcome, welcome. Wherever you are, it's an honor and a pleasure always to come and chop it up and talk to you in the spirit of personal development. Hopefully, wherever you are, you're being appreciated and never tolerated. You're at the right place at the right time. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And this is a unique place is because this is a place where you come in ordinary, but you leave extraordinary, right? So you come in one way, thinking one way, and you leave thinking a different way. That's alchemy right there. This is the number one home for personal development. This is heaven on earth. This is ministry for the abstract mind. And it's a safe space for everybody out there that has an out the box philosophy. Here at Heaven on Earth, we don't believe that you have to die in order to go to heaven. All you have to do is be real, reflective, enlightened, accountable, and most importantly, limitless. Welcome. My promise to you is that personal development is for everybody. It doesn't matter what your gender is, it doesn't matter what class you come from, it doesn't matter the space you're at in your life. Personal development is for everybody. And we use personal development to create heaven on earth, right? So we want to create heaven in our finances. We want to create heaven in our parenting, heaven in our health, heaven in our fellowship, heaven in our travels, the way we navigate, heaven in every area in our lives. Personal development creates that heaven. And don't worry about the kind of whip you drive. Don't worry about your hair texture. Don't worry about the color of your skin. Don't worry about nothing. Personal development is for everybody and it's not biased, right? Keep your babies close to you and be patient. Oof. Be patient with the people in your life that is trying to love on you, right? Um, you might not be everybody's cup of tea, right? So anybody that is being patient with you, anybody that's walking the path with you, be patient with them, right? Because this thing is hard, this human experience is hard, especially when we are trying to grow on each other's time. So shout out to the babies, shout out to the singles, shout out to the married people, shout out to the gays, the straights, whatever you identify as, shout out to you. I don't respond to like trending things like right away. I like to sit with them. And recently, one of the things that was trending was Eboni K. Williams is choosing single motherhood. For some reason, these topics are hot button issues. Well, primarily because it allows people to turn their brain off. You don't have to do a lot of thinking. It's a lot of escapism. But topics like these, create these think pieces. And the think piece is Eboni K. Williams is choosing single motherhood, but the bigger think piece associated with it is why do Black women as a whole choose this single motherhood? So I wanted to let it sit for a couple of days, and I wanted to think about the meaning behind the meaning. I wanted to go a little deeper. And maybe once or twice a week, I go to the lake nearby and I feed the birds. It's a lot of pigeons over there. And I thought to myself, why don't we look at pigeons as rare, right? We don't look at pigeons as valuable. We don't look at pigeons as beautiful. They're considered the rats of the sky. And then I started thinking about value, right? Because it seems women are saying that they don't mind being unpartnered with men. They don't mind even having a child without a man. And not much thought is given to what exactly does that mean. So here's what I mean when how I connected it with the pigeons, right? Now, a pigeon doesn't have much value, but an eagle does, though, right? And an American bald eagle, if I'm not mistaken, is on the endangered species or protected species, right? Because it's rare. So it's looked at as something beautiful. It's looked at as something valuable, right? And it's worth being protected, right? But the pigeon is not, though. If I was to take a slingshot and I go shoot the pigeon with a slingshot, no one would bat an eye, right? They're in all your cities, all on the East Coast, right? They're everywhere. They're considered the rats of the sky, right? No one thinks as pigeons as valuable. You ever been to Sedona? I live in Arizona, right? People come from all around the world to experience Sedona. You could go to Sedona, you could get sound therapy, you could do aromatherapy, you can get do Reiki healing. Sedona has amazing hiking trails, and there's a vortex in Sedona, right? It's an energy center. Sedona is a very, very, very ancient place. If you was to go to Sedona and you were drinking a Pepsi or a cola, and you threw it on the floor instead of in the trash, people will look at you weird, right? Because you're not respecting the energy and you're not respecting the rarity and the essence of Sedona, right? So Sedona and the American bald eagle are kind of the same, right? People are very protective of Sedona, so protective that they wouldn't invite every type of person they know. They would only invite a certain type of person to Sedona, right? Somebody that is into a holistic healing, holistic approaches, right? I thought about the seven wonders of the world. Why do we pay so much money to go to Chichen Itza? Why do we pay so much money to go to the Great Wall of China, the Big Jesus? You know, it's the architecture. You know, I've been to Greece before, right? The Colosseum is a draw. A lot of tourists from around the world want to go experience these structures. Why? Because they're rare, right? Rare. Then I got to thinking about it. When women are saying that they don't mind being unpartnered with men, when women are saying they don't mind even having children with no man, when women are picking 4B, what are they actually saying? And even if they don't know what they're saying, I like to look at the meaning behind the meaning, right? What they're saying is, what Eboni Williams is saying is that men aren't rare. Penis is very, 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 very common. So common that women are saying that they can go without it. That men is not being looked at as that American bald eagle. A man is not being looked at the way that Sedona is being looked at. A man is not being looked at as like the seven wonders of the world, right? A man is being looked at as very common, like a pigeon. And this is why women are saying, for a B, or just give me the baby, I don't need the man, or picking celibacy altogether. They don't want any kind of dealings with men in an intimate way. Why? Our conversation today is why Eboni Williams is actually revealing a harsh truth, or why Eboni Williams is revealing something that a lot of women won't say, not just women, but men too. Because I have to think about these things, right? And I have to turn everything inward and find the personal development in trending things and in things that are going on in the world. So I wanted to start with rare. What people are willing to do to get next to rare things, how people treat rare things. And nobody wants to be unpartnered with anything that's rare. You want to get next to it. You want to experience it. You protect rare things. Body count wasn't a topic when I was growing up. There were still some sexual taboos, but it's a very popular topic right now. If I was to ask a woman what her body count was, and she said 500, right? If I was with a group of men, the natural response would be, whoa, right? But if she was to say that it's all women, then everybody would go, whew. Now, I am a person that likes to look at the meaning behind the meaning. If a woman's body count was 500 and it was all women and no men would flinch, but if she said, psych, it's men, we would be like, oh, ew, ooh, her value would decrease. So if she's with women, we don't flinch, men, right? I don't know women among men, but I can say how it would be among men. So if we know that a woman is with a lot of men, her value goes down. This is 3D shit, right? But if she's with women, no problem. And I don't I don't know if men know what we're saying, because that's a huge diss, right? When we look at a mother, a single mom, and say, I ain't taking care of another man's kids, the way that we say it is so fucked up. Right? Another man's kids. I thought men have value, right? I thought men were amazing, and I thought men built the world, right? These are the things we say to women. But on a day-to-day basis, we do things and we say things to show women, girls, that we hate men, right? If the woman is with a lot of women, her value doesn't decrease. But if the woman is with a lot of men, her value decreases. This is what men say, right? As long as a man is away from a woman, the male looks at things as pure. She's a pure woman. She's uncorrupted. She's not touched on. But what are we saying? Are we saying that men are dirty? Because this is how men talk about each other, right? The only time I hear men talk great about men is when trying to sell men to women, right? You need a man. Men built the world. It's because of men that you have light. It's because of men that you have technology. This is only a conversation when women are saying they don't need men, right? But at the same time, if a woman says, yeah, cool, I got 4 boyfriends, ew, but I thought men were great, right? There's a subconscious thing, there's a seed inside the man that views men as not valuable and dirty, right? Unless the man has a lot of property, things and stuff. But the guy stand alone, hell no. In fact, if a woman chooses a guy that doesn't have anything, it's not the women that'll shame her. It's the man. The man will come and say, yo broke ass boyfriend, yo broke ass husband, right? So the woman can't pick the man just because who he is. No, she must pick him based on having a lot of things, because other men are going to assess his value. Does he got real estate? Does he got money? Does he got stocks? Is he a CEO, right? It's the guy that really likes status. Because if the woman says, I left my husband and he's the owner of a football team because I'm not happy, the man will say, are you dumb? He does X, Y, and Z, right? The woman can't date the guy just because she likes him. He needs to have all these things for men. And we don't understand what we're doing and saying when we judge like that. We're saying that the man doesn't have the high value man, right? What makes him valuable? It's not integrity. It's not spirituality. It's not wisdom. It's not discipline. No, it's money, status, right? Power, right? This is how men are grading each other and judging each other, right? And what we're saying is that men hate men. This is what we're really saying. We don't like each other. There's something in us that is very mean and very ugly to each other, right? Because why do we look at each other like that? Why do we judge each other like that? Why are we so mean to each other, like, you know? And then we go to the woman for kindness. We go to the woman for understanding. We go to the woman for nurturing, right? That's because guys are so hard on each other, right? What you're looking at here is female predators, right? These are female predators. So these are women that were school teachers that been inappropriate with their male students. Now, I don't know if y'all are paying attention, but it's been a lot of this lately, right? Grown women are getting busy with their male students. And it's really, really, really not a big deal. And I'll tell you why it's not a big deal in a second. But just for balance purposes, it's not just white women. It's black women too that are getting busy with their male teachers, right? Male students, excuse me. It's black women too that are being inappropriate with their male students. It's black women too that are being inappropriate with their male students, right? They don't see them as little boys. Okay. Why isn't that a big deal? Why isn't that at the top of the think pieces, right? And the reason it's not a big deal is because guys don't care, right? Because in our mind, right, that's not dirty. Flip it around. It becomes a big deal to men, right? When men do that to the youth, because it's already a thing in the male mind that the man is dirty, right? When these women are doing these things to these young people, it's the men that are real standoffish about it. Why? So when I was 15 and I had sex with a 34-year-old woman, no big deal. I remember I told my friends, we slapped fives. When I told the older homies, it was slapping fives, right? Men don't see that as a problem. Why don't men see that as a problem? It has more to do with how we see the young male. The young male is not looked at as valuable, right? There's no man that when a woman does this, the men are ready to take women's heads off. No, it's because the male child, the man doesn't see the male as valuable, right? So when we're trying to have male children, it's not because the male child is valuable. It's so they can take over our shit. We never ask them what they want, right? If I'm a doctor, you're going to be a doctor. I have a corporation, you're going to own the corporation, right? It's nepotism. You're going to do what I do. The young child doesn't have a say so in this direction. So the male child is just used as a tool. So is the daughter, but we're not talking about that. The male child is used as a leveraging tool for whatever the father got going on, right? So we have the male child just so he can be a continuation of the family name. We never ask them what they want to be. We never ask them what they want to do, right? Because there's something about male on male. We hate men. We hate men and we hate little boys. It is totally fine for young males to suffer. What do we do to young boys? Put them through suffering, make them tough, right? Take love away from them, right? This is the psychology. Make the boy suffer. That's fucked up, right? Don't love on him too much because you don't want to turn him gay, right? So just give him enough, but move your hand back. Let him find himself. He needs to find his purpose. And to do that, that's putting him through traumatizing experiences, right? And we don't want the son to be gay. So he's 12 years old. Let him sleep with grown women, right? We don't see the male child as valuable. That needs to be protected. The only time the male child needs to be protected is if he's taking over something that the father was doing, right? But the male child sexuality doesn't need to be protected because a lot of times we'll take him to the brothel. A lot of times we'll introduce him to a prostitute because we want to make sure that he ain't gay, right? We deny our boys love. We deny them intimacy and affection because we don't want him to be soft, right? We treat our cars better than we treat our sons. The car gets all of the daddy's intimacy. The car gets a shower. We talk to the car. We dress the car. It got rims on it, right? Speakers, crazy system, right? We're very intimate with the whip. But with our son, hell no, right? A lot of boys don't even know what it's like to hear I love you from their dad. A lot of boys don't know what it's like to feel intimacy from their grandfather or their uncle because he's a male child. And for his development, we think the best way to raise him up and develop him is to pull intimacy and love away from him. We say things like, girls and women are emotional. Boys are logical. There goes a good book by Lisa Feldman Barrett. The book is called How Emotions Are Made, right? So look at what we do to male children, guys. So this book is the book of human emotion. Now, when we say that the woman is emotional, the girl is emotional, the female is emotional, and the boy, the man, the male is logical and naturally stoic. Anxiety is an emotion. Anticipation is an emotion. Apathy is emotion. Befuddlement is an emotion. Boredom is an emotion. Calm, carefree, cheerfulness is an emotion. Claustrophobia is an emotion. Comfort is an emotion. Confidence is an emotion. Courage and curiosity are emotions. Rage, regret, hatred, humble, humiliation, ecstasy, empathy, envy, euphoria, all emotions. Glee and gratitude, sadness, shock, shame, nostalgia is an emotion. Morbid is an emotion. Terror, wonder, worry are emotions. Triumph is an emotion. Wanderlust is an emotion. It's a great book. This is Tiffany Watt Smith, right? This book goes in depth about what emotions are like melancholy, dread, are all emotions. So you telling me the boy, the male child, doesn't feel none of that? The only emotions that we know are anger, and happy. There is no middle for the male child. Now, this is how we treat each other, right? We say that the male is not emotional. So then we can't figure out how to articulate exactly how we're feeling because we say that it doesn't exist. This is what males say to males, right? Males hate males, right? And it's a problem. It's a problem because we treat each other this way, and then we be in women's faces asking them, how come y'all don't want us? How come y'all don't respect us? Right? How come all you see from me is an ATM? Well, that's because we have robbed the male of humanity. This is what we do to each other. We say, oh, the woman is emotional, not me. To even be in the human meat suit, there is never a time when you're not emotional, right? There is never a time when you're not emotional. If you say you respect another man, that's emotion, right? See, we don't have names for what's going on with us because we think that we're devoid of it, right? And then we project that on youngsters and then raise them up. And then when he's in a relationship and he's crashing out, well, tell us how you feel. He don't know. Because for one, you said he wasn't emotional, right? For two, we never sat with the language of this is how I feel and get a person to actually describe that and give them the lane to articulate themselves with no judgment. The male is a human. The girl and the boy are both emotional. There's you cannot be a human and not be emotional. So the people that are even talking about emotion in a negative way, what they are stuck in is European logic, right? They're stuck in the trivium, right? Logic, rhetoric, right? Grammar. They're stuck in that, right? They're stuck in stoicism, not knowing that these philosophies are tools of thinking, right? And you use them at specific times, right? You don't be stoic when your child is born, right? You don't be stoic on your wedding day, right? You don't be logical when you're holding your baby. You don't be logical when you're breastfeeding, right? So when you're stuck in European logic and rhetoric and grammar, you are suppressing real raw emotions that you need to feel at that specific moment. Now, there is emotional intelligence, which means that you feel a certain type of way and you're able to analyze why you feel like that, what the triggers are of you feeling like that, right? So we need to have the boys need to have a lane to name their emotions. So mothers with sons, never tell your boy child, stop all that crying. Fathers with sons, never tell your boy child to stop all that crying, right? Talk to your baby. Why are you crying, son? Right? Is what caused it? Right? Is how did it make you feel? Right? After they calm down, get them to talk and name what's going on with them. Don't shut that down because you don't want to parent, and don't shut that down because you think that a male by nature is supposed to be stoic, right? You This is called the Book of Human Emotions by Tiffany Watt Smith. Okay? So we do that with our emotions, then we do that to guys in life. For example, pink is just designated as a woman's color. Like, wait a minute. So these boys are born with these weird rules, right? And they have to go by the rules, even if the rules don't match who they are. Yeah, you got a pink shirt, you must be gay, right? Or you can't do gymnastics. You're a gay person, right? You're a female, right? These unwritten rules that the male has to exist in this little box, right? His hobbies have to be what we considered guy hobbies. The music, your dress, you must exist in this little box, but it's the box that is created by males, right? That's messed up. How come I can't experience the world, right? Am I really free, or am I on a gender plantation? Am I really free, or am I supposed to just color in the lines and act in a way that other guys, okay, yeah. Okay, well, cool. If the male child acquiesces and they give up their individuality for this male cult, what do they get? What is the reward from the male group? Well, you won't beat them up, right? If they give up their freedom for this ideal of what y'all consider a guy, this is what a dude is supposed to do, cool. What does he get? What's the reward, right? What's the perks that come with giving up the individuality? Because a boy is not supposed to wear a certain color. A boy is supposed to have a certain tone of voice. A boy is supposed to pick a certain career field. Why aren't guys nurses? Right? You telling me dudes don't care about people? Right? There's like, why not be a nurse? Why ain't guys florists, veterinarians? Why not? Right? Why do dudes have to do construction? What if he's not even good at it? And because of this weird shit, you have people in positions that they're not even good. But because he's a guy, go over there and do that. What kind of plantation are we living on here? All these weird unwritten rules. But if the individual colors outside the lines, here comes shame, right? So our emotions, the life we live, men even police each other's sexuality with women. Bruh, this is how you have sex with her. Keep it missionary. She can't touch your body. Yo, it's so ill. I don't know if guys know this, but a man's sexual experience and a woman's sexual experience is so different. A woman feels full body orgasms, right? A woman sensory is so different. She gets a whole different vibe from sex. We're only allowed to feel one spot, and it's like that, right? The touch, the intimacy. We're not even allowed to know our bodies because we gotta, especially if you're a black dude, you gotta stay within the realms of hip hop. That ain't hip hop, or you're not a real nigga, or you're not a street nigga, right? Like, yo, okay. So there's a plantation for me as a dude. Then I gotta be a real nigga, so that's a plantation. Oh, then I'm a black man, so that's another plantation. Oh, then I'm a street nigga. I'm a real nigga. I'm black. Oh, I'm a guy. Oh, I'm a provider. I'm a protect. Like, whew. When does the dude get to himself? Now, this is the world that men create for other men, right? This is why when you want to expose a guy, what do? You expose his sexual secrets, because we created these rules that men can't do certain shit. You can't expose a woman's sexuality. If you come out and be like, yeah, man, she sucked me off, ate my ass, it's going to be dudes in her inbox. we'll play, we'll let the red pill play that men don't like this shit. Okay, yeah, right. Soon as you put her business out, right, it's gonna be dudes that's in their inbox. What's up, big head? Right? So There's rules with emotions that men can experience. There's life rules and these unwritten things that men can experience because of the world that men create. Then even when you're with a woman that you really care about, you must stay within this small, narrow space, right? Don't touch me, don't kiss on me, don't no, right? As a dude, we can only experience the sexuality through our penis, but not our hands, not our feet, nothing, right? This is a prison. And it's a crazy way that dudes police each other, right? But when you want to expose the guy, what do? Oh yeah, he had a thumb. He like a thumb in his ass, or he like. And then what do the world of men do? But why does the guy have to live there, right? A heterosexual man with a woman, whatever they do, no, that's gay, right? How do the straight guy get to call? How do y'all have a monopoly on what's gay and what's not? You're straight. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, I can't wear a certain kind of shirt, right? Remember, I'm not emotional, right? Um, Even with my wifey, even with the person I'm gonna be with the rest of my life, I have to have sex a certain type of way, right? This is the bro code, right? But then when women say, you know what? I think I'm going to choose to be unpartnered from a guy. We're like, oh my God, I can't believe. Why would you pick that? Men built the world. Okay, but we're not allowed to be emotional, right? Our sex has to be missionary. We're not allowed to experience our entire body. We have to dress a certain type of way, wear a white shirt, black shirt. That's it, right? How is this fun to somebody? When especially if you're not a gay dude, how do you know what's a good man, right? Yeah, women are women are what's the shit, the talking point? Women are choosing not to deal with these good men. How do you know he's good, right? Because for men, what makes a good man is all things and stuff. Oh man, he makes a lot of money. Good man. Oh, he's a CEO. Good man. Oh, he's a general. Good man. It's the women that can determine what's a good man and what's not. How do you know what's a good man? You don't lay with men, or do you? Right? How can you assess what is a good man as a guy? It's like eternal affairs. Like it's police investigating each other. How do you know what's a good man? You don't deal with men, and you're judging. What's interesting though is, especially if you're a Christian man, all the men that you say are good, they don't even represent the behavior of Christ. The high value man character is not even a Christ-like character, right? So what y'all call good men, right? What y'all call good men, how would you know? How would you know? Right? How do you know how he is behind the scenes? How do you know how he is at the dinner table? How do you know about his hygiene? Is he a good listener? Right? This is you, because you're telling women that they should marry these guys and be with them for the rest of their life. But what makes him good? But the way that we assess men is through things and stuff. Oh, he has a nice car. Oh, he just got a job promotion. Men don't see the humanity in other men, and that's messed up, right? Is he still a good man among men if he has no job? Is he still a good man if he doesn't have a position, right? Is he still a good man if he takes the bus, right? He helped that lady across the street. He helps somebody with their bags. Is he still a good man? No, because he's broke, right? This is what guys say about each other. You broke ass nigga. You broke. You broke, right? And if a woman is with a man with no money, other men will remind that woman that her man is broke. Yeah, why you with him? Right? The average woman, when she's been in a relationship, a dude has dirty macked and been like, yo, why you with him? I could take way better care than you. I could take way better care of you. He starts throwing his paper at her. He starts throwing his status at her, right? Men don't respect men. Men don't like men. You know what I'm saying? Men respect cars. Men respect tangible shit that is not alive, right? He got a car. He got a house, right? He got status. None of these are living, breathing things, right? But we disrespect the living, right? Right? So when male is about living things, that doesn't matter, right? And that's a problem, right? Because the world that males are creating for each other, the majority are going to fail, right? For a lot of guys to want the old way to come back, do you know the majority are going to fail, right? For those that are, I don't want to say the P word, this dirty P word, patriarchy. For you to want that, you do understand that for that to be the dominant structure, the majority of guys are going to fail. You know this, right? You know, but you think that it's better for guys. Why? Because you get a woman at the end. Men have an overall disdain for other men, right? And then turn around and expect women to respect men. Now, where did we get this disdain from other men for men? Where does this come from? There's a root of it, right? There's something at play here that men are getting a disdain for each other. What is it? It's very, 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 very simple. It is the worship of Yahweh. Okay? It is the worship of Yahweh. Now, there is no patriarchy as we understand it without monotheism in Yahweh, right? It's Yahweh worship. It's this demiurge. Yahweh, the belief in this Old Testament deity or the God of the Bible, the belief in this, and even women believe this. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? You take on these demiurges and you take on these personalities. But what I want y'all to do is I want to put you into the ancient world of how things were, right? These were big cities. People were laughing, joking, just like now. The difference is the way you look at Bloods and Crips, I want you to look at gods like that. So the same way we have Bloods and Crips now, at that time, there's different deities being worshipped. And these are all regional gods, right? Yahweh becomes a state-sanctioned God of the Israelites, but he ain't alone. He's just the one that they started pushing. It's a tricky topic, right? But he's not alone. This is why men hate each other, right? So Yahweh has a certain characteristic. You shall have no other gods but me. Yahweh's very, very possessive. Yahweh's very, very jealous. kind of like men, right? Yahweh is very territorial, kind of like men, right? Yahweh is not the only God at this time. You have El, you have Baal, you have Moloch, you have Asherah, right? Yahweh was originally what we consider the people we consider pagans. At those specific times, they would be pagans. This is before monotheism. Okay? When monotheism comes on the scene, Yahweh becomes the primary God. But he was a pantheon with other deities, though, at this specific time. Yahweh was connected to Asherah. Okay? Asherah is Yahweh's consort or wife. Now, you notice in Judeo-Christian religion as well as Islam, there's no feminine attribute. It's all male. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Even the devil is a man, right? But that's not balance, and that's not how it was. Yahweh was paired with Asherah. Now, many of you have heard of Lilith, but have you heard of Asherah? Okay. Many people have documented Asherah, but we don't know about this because we grew up we grew up in slave Christianity, right? So we don't know too much about the ancient world. We talk about the pyramids, but we stop there. We oftentimes don't look into mythologies. We don't look into ancient civilizations and polytheism, right? Asherah was very much worshipped at this time, thousands of years ago. So the way that there is a primary male deity now that governs over America and the West, it was not like that then. In fact, Yahweh was a regional deity. He was never designed to be a global deity. He was regional, right? And we say that we follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We don't even know who these people are and why are we following their God. Okay? Asherah was removed. Anything feminine in the pantheon was removed. Okay? The fact that we don't find this odd of why do we say he but there's no she, but in nature is male, female. Humanity, male, female. Sharks, male, female. Dogs, male, female. But why when it gets to the theology, why when it gets to the God, there's no male, female. It's just male. The Father, his Son, the Holy Spirit, even the devil is a dude, right? If you woke up tomorrow and God was a woman in the Bible, you use your goddamn mind, right? So in your notepad, I want you to do the history of Asherah. And if I'm wrong, come back, tell me, right? But before you say, I don't believe that, I'm not talking a belief. I'm talking about what is actually documented. This is not a belief. I'm not telling you what I believe, okay? Asherah, along with Astarte and Anath, was one of the great three goddesses of the Canaanite pantheon. In Canaanite religion, her primary role was the mother goddess. Canaanites associated Asherah with sacred trees, and association also found in the Israelite tradition. This is very well documented. Here's another one. The cult of Asherah in ancient Israel and Judah. Screenshot that. You got it? The cult of Asherah in ancient Israel and Judah. The queen of heaven, Asherah, Baal Cadmon. You got it? This stuff is very documented. You just got to know where to look. So now you have a navigation tool, and now you could go down the rabbit hole. You've heard of Lilith, but Asherah is not very discussed outside of like real academia of people. If you don't study ancient cultures and ancient religions and civilizations, only one God, monotheism in ancient Israel, and the veneration of the goddess Asherah. You got it? Screenshot. Another one, the Hebrew goddess. This is another one. Screenshot this. When God had a wife, the rise and fall of the sacred feminine in Judeo-Christian tradition. Screenshot this. Okay. History's vanquished goddess, Asherah. Screenshot this. Got it? Another one. Did God have a wife? Archaeology and folk religion in ancient Israel. You got it? There's a reason why we call God He. Right? There's a reason why my mama told me if I don't praise God, the rocks are going to cry out, because God is jealous. But that's the characteristics of Yahweh. Yahweh was a storm god. Yahweh was a raider, right? Now, doesn't it make sense that those that subscribe to Judeo-Christian philosophies have the craziest military in the world? Those that subscribe to Judeo-Christian ideology, how come they're on top of the food chain? Because it's God versus God. Yahweh's a warrior God, right? The reason why males hate males is because Yahweh hates men, right? Yahweh wanted Abraham to sacrifice his son, right? Yahweh worship, the cult of Yahweh, is the reason why men look at other men and want to take their shit. Yahweh worship is the reason why men circumcise young boys, right? So, Deuteronomy, fear your Lord, serve him, and only take your oaths in his name. Do not follow other gods. Who are the other gods? Baal, Moloch, Asherah, El. Do not follow other gods, the gods of the peoples around you. For the Lord your God, who is among you, is a jealous God, and his anger will burn against you, and he will destroy you from the face of the land. Do not put the Lord your God to the test as you did at Manasseh. They are talking about Yahweh, right? They're talking about Yahweh, right? Yahweh's jealous. Okay. Yahweh doesn't want you to pay attention to no other deities, right? Asherah, Baal. This is other people's culture. But the point that I'm bringing up is the reason why males hate young males, other males, is because Yahweh, the demiurge, right? It is a energy that is designed to keep males at their lower nature, right? So some will say, damn, Campbell, what does that have to do with Ebony Williams? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. Glad you asked. Get to that in a sec. So when did men, women, and child become the norm? That's all Yahweh worship. When people talk about the nuclear family, that's Yahweh worship. How do we know this? How do we know that men, woman, and child, right, is Yahweh worship? Because what we're saying about Eboni K. Williams is, why is she choosing single motherhood? Why are these women choosing to have the baby with no man? Why are they choosing this? Right? Why would you choose this hard life? Huh. What you're looking at right there is where the Sentinelese people live. Now, this is what they date these people as. They say that these people have been there for 60,000 years, right? Now, is their family framework husband, wife, child? No. When you look at the oldest people in the world, when you look at their family makeup, it is not father, mother, child, right? Their family makeup consists of elders, it consists of young people, it consists of men, it consists of women, it consists of children. Men are not all the way in the corner somewhere away from everybody else with the woman. The woman is not in the corner somewhere away from everybody else with the man. This comes into play with Yahweh worship. Okay. That's the Sentinelese people. You can't even get close to them. Right? You can't even get close to them. What you're looking at is uncontacted tribes in South America. None of them have the framework of man, woman, kid. That it does not work like that. That is not the oldest family structure in the world. That comes into play with Yahweh worship. How do we know? Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. This is Yahweh worship. This is Yahweh worship. Those that subscribe to the cult of Yahweh, what you call the nuclear family, that's Yahweh worship. That is not an ancient family structure. That is not the family structure of the oldest peoples in the world. And the ill thing about Yahweh is Yahweh curses the man and the woman, right? You hear the Hebrew Israelites talk about, which is so ill. They'll talk about how the people fell and they're cursed. That's why slavery happened. But like, it's so ill because Yahweh worship, when you turn your brain off and you're not paying attention, you will be believing in something that says you're not worthy, that his only begotten son needs to come die for you. You fall short of the glory of God. This is Yahweh worship. Yahweh worship believes men are dirty. Yahweh worship believes that there needs to be a sacrifice in order for the man to be redeemed. That's the cult of Yahweh. In Yahweh worship, the woman is cursed. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In the sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. When we talk about women are supposed to be submissive in Yahweh and in Abrahamic faiths, that's Yahweh though. Islam is Yahweh. Okay? Yahweh was not the only deity at that time. Right? And then you have to ask yourself, are you following a theology and a religious system that is based on your specific lineage? Why would you follow Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Why would you follow their deity? You don't even know them. Why would you follow a deity where you're cursed? Why would you follow a deity where God cursed this deity also curses the man? Cursed is the ground for thy sake. The ground is cursed. The woman is cursed. The man is cursed. The ground is cursed. Fire and brimstone, Sodom and Gomorrah, plagues, curses. Why would you follow that deity? Right? But then you have Eboni K. Williams, right? Why is she choosing single motherhood? Why is the Black woman choosing to single motherhood? You know what's interesting about that? As guys, we compare men to animals, right? Gorillas, wolves, right? Especially if the animal has other females. So we'll be like, look at nature. The male is naturally polyamorous. Look at nature, right? So when we need to use a point of reference, we use men and compare men to other males in nature to support an argument, right? We look at gorillas, we look at lions, specifically when we're talking about aggression, and men are territorial. And when we're talking about being partnered with more than one female, this is what we look at nature for, right? We don't often do that with women, though. So when we look at Eboni K. Williams, we'll be like, why is she, right, choosing single motherhood? Why do Black women choose single motherhood? But we don't look at her and compare her to nature the same way that we would do a male. We don't look at Eboni K. Williams and be like, well, polar bear mothers, they don't have the male around. I would argue it's more dangerous for this female in nature to not have a male around than it is for a human mother with a child or children. We have police. We have agencies that'll protect the woman, right? It's more dangerous for this polar bear female to not have a male around, but they do it, and that's their makeup. They mate, and the male never sees these cubs ever again. When we look at Eboni K. Williams, we'll say, why is she choosing to be unpartnered? I can't believe it, right? But we don't compare her to cheetahs. There ain't no male around. How come when we're talking about the male or guys, we use animals, right? We use nature, but we don't do that, right? We don't do that for women. When we look at Eboni K. Williams, we say it's not natural for her to be without a man. She needs a man. Why don't we do that with everything else? Why don't we do that with everything else? To me, this is just to me. For her to choose this path, right? If you've been here from the beginning, I started out talking about what's rare and what's not, right? For her to choose this path, for many women to choose this path, I have to do something that a lot of guys not going to do. I got to look at myself, and then I got to look at the species, right? For women to be like, I don't want you, I don't need you, I'm good without you, or whatever, I have to ask myself, well, damn, am I rare? Because if I was rare, nobody would say that to me, right? If qualities in guys, if the guy as a whole, if we're rare, no one's going to do that. Now, what makes us not rare? A lot of women, since they've been 12, 13, 14, since they've been going through puberty, it been dudes in their face to sleep with them. Now, I don't know what that's like, right? I don't know what that's like, but women do. You know what it's like for people trying to have sex with you for years, to the point where it makes the guy common as hell. Nothing wrong with sex, but it's, you already know. And this is what guys say. We're visual. We need sex. This is what dudes say. And I cringe when I hear it because you don't know what you're saying. Yeah, we're visual, right? And if I'm looking from a woman's perspective, it makes the guy common because a woman is more than her looks. But if that's all you see, how are we expecting women to view men, even if they're married women? She could have married because it was some Bible shit or whatever. But how often are women impressed with a guy? Like genuinely impressed, like, yo, you's an ill nigga. How I hear women talk about a dude's money, not him, right? You'll hear women talking about what he'll do for her. She don't talk about him, that he taught me a lot of things. He showed me a lot of things. I've never met a human being like this guy right here, right? For women to say, I'm cool on dudes, that has everything to do with guys, right? That dudes are common, right? Not exceptional. Well, that's because they're not picking the right man. Okay. The high value man and the poor man have something in common. They both want to sleep with women. So the woman might get with the rich guy on some survival shit, but is she impressed with him as a person? Right? Is she impressed? Right? Is she looking at the dude like, yo, you are ill? You are a ill human. How many dudes can say that? Right? How many dudes can say that? So I had to look at my own self of like, well, damn. How many times in my life did I make it known, yo, yeah, I'm attracted to you? How many times in my life did I make it known that, yeah, I want to sleep with you, right? And I never was thinking to myself when I was doing that, even if she slept with me, right? I was becoming like the rest of the dudes, right? Nothing wrong with being attracted, right? But that's every dude. So when women are saying, hope you understand what I'm saying. When women are saying, I can delay motherhood, I can delay being partnered, I can delay that. Why? Because guys are easy to get. Then the argument will be, well, not the man that you want, not the man that you really want. The man that a woman really wants, still, this unicorn dude still has the same thirst as a poor man. What's the difference? Rare. Which guy has the ability to lead a woman? Not in the Yahweh, not from that perspective though. The ability to lead a woman to herself. A mirror. That means I am here to help you get to you. I know that doesn't sound sexy, but that's rare though. That means if anything happens to that man, they never speak again, he passes away. She looks at him as a teacher. She looks at him as, this guy showed up in my life and he helped and was a tool for me to find me. We show up in women's life and want to lead them in our shit, right? But we're in a different age. It would be very rare for a guy to show up in a woman's life and push her into herself. Do you think that Eboni K. Williams would be having a baby without a dude if the men that she was dealing with, or whoever was in her life to pass her a mirror. Sis, don't look at me. Look at you. Don't follow me. Follow you. Pick yourself. Choose the path. Go inward. No. The men are indoctrinated with the cult of Yahweh. So we're carrying around this false deity. It is I'm saying it. The God of the Bible is a false deity. It is not real. You make it real because you believe it, but it was never even intended for you to worship it. It is a storm god, a raider. It carries around warfare with it, jealousy with it, anger with it, right? That's why fear of the Lord. Why would I fear you? Fear, right? More women are going to continue to choose what Eboni K. Williams chose as long as men are carrying around the false God, the cult of Yahweh, right? We're not in that. I guarantee that if men were showing up and they showed up with mirrors for women, I am here as a tool to help you on the path. I don't think they will be having babies by themselves. When we hear women say, I don't need a man, I don't want a man, we always talk about the women. We never ask ourselves, I wonder why they're saying that. If I could help you get from A to Z on your journey, on your path, I'm your accountability partner. Go ahead and scan that and put yourself on my calendar. And we'll stay connected. And I'll help you think different. I'll help you on the path, right? As your accountability partner. So go ahead and scan that. And remember, if you have to fight with your hands, if you got to put your dukes up, you already lost. Because real warfare, true war, is done from the mind. It's mind versus mind, not gun versus gun, not T versus T, not post versus post. Mind versus mind. If you have to do any of this, you already lost. Much respect to you, even if you wish me the opposite. Sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is.